Let's talk about one of the most stressful situations any of us in boarding can face, a student going missing. Now, this isn't going to be just another run-through of a protocol. Think of this as a guided conversation, really, about the craft of caring. We're going to focus on reflective practice, not just ticking boxes on a checklist. So let's dive in. Just take a second, picture it. You do a check, and there's an empty bed. What's that first feeling? It's a jolt, right? That sudden sinking feeling in your stomach, a mix of adrenaline and real concern. It's a deeply human reaction. And acknowledging that feeling, that's where this whole practice really begins. It reminds us that behind every procedure, there's a young person we're responsible for. And right in that moment, when your head is spinning, this is the tool you can turn to. This 11-point model from our source material, it's designed to be our guide. So think of it less like some rigid test you have to pass and more like a map. It gives you structure and clarity exactly when your own instincts might be clouded by that initial panic. Okay, so let's zero in on that critical first hour, the crisis moment. This is where having a clear procedure is your absolute best friend. It guides our first actions so they can be as quick and effective as possible. What's really powerful about this is how simple and direct it is. Trigger the protocol, check the last spot, call their phone, sweep the building, escalate. There's just no room for doubt. And there's a good reason for that. Panic makes it hard to think clearly. These steps, they're not just a list, they're our anchor in the storm. And this slide just nails the mindset we have to be in. Look at the difference. On the left, you've got actions that are all about safety and bringing people together. On the right, those are the actions that usually come from a place of wanting to avoid a fuss or hoping it'll just blow over. The key takeaway is this. The protocol isn't about getting someone in trouble. It's about getting everyone involved to make sure a student is safe. We never, ever assume, and we never try to handle it alone. All right, let's talk communication. And I know the recording part can feel like just more paperwork, but it is so much more than that. Every single point here is vital. Informing the right people creates a network of support around you and the student. And recording everything from when they were last seen to that police log number, it creates a clear, factual timeline. That timeline could be absolutely critical down the road. It's just part of our professional craft. Okay, so the student is back. The immediate crisis has passed, but really our work has just entered its most important phase. Now we've got to move beyond the checklist and into the really complex, human part of the response. Just let those words sit for a second. We are so relieved you are safe. It starts with care. Not discipline, not a lecture, not even questions, but relief. Starting the conversation right there with that feeling, it changes everything. It frames the entire discussion around their well-being, not just their rule breaking. And that opens the door for a much more honest chat. And this is where we apply what our source calls the safeguarding lens. This is crucial. A student being missing isn't just an action. It's a piece of information. It's a signal. It pushes us to ask that deeper question. Why did they feel they had to leave? Are there things going on we don't know about? This totally shifts our focus from just managing behavior to actively safeguarding a young person. Now here's where it gets tricky, isn't it? This return interview, it has to do two jobs at once. We have to be the investigator, looking at it from a safeguarding angle, but we also have to be the one who upholds the rules. We're holding two, sometimes conflicting, needs at the same time, and navigating that is a really skilled part of what we do. So how do we actually do that? How do you balance being the person who cares deeply with being the person who has to enforce the boundaries that keep everyone safe? There's no simple answer here, and it's a question that's really worth sitting with and reflecting on in our own practice. How do you walk that tightrope? All right, let's zoom out a bit, because every single incident, no matter how it ends, is a chance for us to learn. It's an opportunity to look at our systems and figure out how to make them stronger. So hopefully this doesn't happen again. And here are the three big pillars for prevention. And notice, it's a real blend. You need those solid tested systems, that's a given. You need clear education so students actually get the why behind the rules. But just as important, you need that relational culture. When a student feels like they have a trusted adult they can actually talk to, they are so much less likely to feel the need to just run. And of course, we always bring this learning back to our official policies, the missing student policy, the safeguarding policy. This is just good practice. It makes sure that what we do day to day is actually lined up with the frameworks designed to keep everyone safe and that we're meeting all our obligations. So, we've walked through the crisis, the human side, and the system side. Let's finish with what is, for me, the most important part of this whole thing. That personal reflection that turns a tough experience into real professional wisdom. I'm just going to read this again, slowly. Did I follow the golden hour checks correctly? And did our system identify this absence as quickly as it should have? Where, if anywhere, was the delay? Now, this isn't about blame. It's about a calm, honest look in the mirror at our own actions and at the systems we rely on. This is the question worth sitting with. Answering this, honestly and with our teams, is how we get better. It's how we sharpen our systems, it's how we improve our own practice, and it's how we truly master the craft of caring for the young people that we live with.